Welcome to this peaceful journey through the fascinating world of penguins. As you settle into a comfortable position and allow your body to relax, let the gentle rhythm of these words carry you into a state of calm and tranquility. Tonight, we will explore the remarkable lives of one of nature's most beloved creatures, the penguin. Penguins are a group of flightless, semi-aquatic seabirds that live almost exclusively in the southern hemisphere. They have captured the hearts of people around the world with their distinctive appearance and charming behaviors. As you breathe slowly and deeply, imagine yourself transported to the vast, pristine landscapes where these remarkable birds make their homes. There are 18 recognized species of penguins in the world today, each with its own unique characteristics and adaptations. From the towering emperor penguin of Antarctica to the tiny little blue penguin of Australia and New Zealand, these birds have evolved to thrive in some of the most challenging environments on our planet. The emperor penguin stands as the largest of all penguin species, reaching heights of approximately 120 centimeters and weighing between 22 and 45 kilograms. These magnificent birds are true giants of the penguin world, their size helping them to survive in the extreme cold of the Antarctic winter. Picture these stately creatures standing proud against a backdrop of endless ice and snow, their black and white plumage gleaming in the pale light. At the other end of the spectrum, the little blue penguin, also known as the fairy penguin, stands at just 30 to 33 centimeters tall and weighs only 1 to 1.5 kilograms. These adorable creatures live along the coastlines of southern Australia and New Zealand, coming ashore at night to nest in burrows and rock crevices close to the ocean. Their soft blue-gray feathers give them their distinctive name and appearance. As your mind drifts into a peaceful state, consider the remarkable evolutionary journey that penguins have undertaken. Scientists believe that penguins began to diverge from their flying ancestors sometime around 66 million years ago, possibly during the time when dinosaurs still roamed the Earth. The oldest known penguin fossils date back approximately 62 million years and were discovered in New Zealand, revealing that early penguins superficially resembled cormorants with long, narrow beaks and flexible wings. Over millions of years, penguins gradually adapted to life in the ocean. Their wings transformed into powerful flippers, their bodies became streamlined for swimming, and their feathers evolved into a dense, waterproof covering. This journey of adaptation has resulted in the remarkable creatures we know and love today. Ancient penguins were often much larger than their modern descendants. The largest prehistoric penguin, known as Anthropornis nordenskjoldi, could reach nearly 2 meters in height and lived approximately 33 to 45 million years ago. Imagine these towering birds waddling across ancient coastlines, their impressive size making them formidable hunters in the waters of prehistoric seas. Another remarkable prehistoric penguin, discovered in New Zealand, was part of the genus Kairoku. The name comes from the Maori language and loosely translates to diver who returns with food. These elegant birds lived approximately 27 million years ago and were characterized by their slender bodies, elongated trunks, narrow bills, and long wing bones that would have made them striking figures on the beaches of ancient New Zealand. As you continue to relax and let go of the tensions of the day, let your thoughts drift to the remarkable physical adaptations that allow penguins to thrive in their challenging environments. Penguins have developed one of nature's most effective insulation systems, combining specialized feathers, body fat, and behavioral strategies to survive in extreme cold. The feathers of a penguin are unlike those of any other bird. Rather than being arranged in tracts, as in most birds, penguin feathers are continuously spaced across the entire body, creating a uniform protective layer. Each feather consists of a stiff outer portion that forms a waterproof barrier and a soft, downy underlayer that traps air close to the skin. This trapped air provides 80 to 84% of the thermal insulation that penguins need to survive. Emperor penguins possess 4 main types of feathers that work together to create their remarkable insulation system. Contour feathers form the stiff, overlapping outer layer that shields the penguin from wind and water. Attached to these contour feathers are after feathers, which contribute to the overall insulation. Beneath this layer, independent plumules attach directly to the skin and form a dense mat of downy insulation. Finally, tiny filoplumes at the base of the contour feathers act as sensory structures, alerting the bird to feather displacement and encouraging preening. Penguins maintain their feathers through careful grooming, spending up to 3 hours each day preening. A special gland near the base of their tail, called the uropygial gland, secretes a waterproof oil that penguins spread over their feathers using their bills. This oil not only repels water, but also has antimicrobial properties that help keep the feathers in optimal condition. In addition to their remarkable feathers, penguins can have up to 30% of their body weight as fat, providing additional insulation against the cold. This layer of blubber is particularly important when penguins are swimming in frigid waters, where heat loss occurs much more rapidly than in air. As your breathing becomes slower and deeper, imagine the peaceful sight of penguins gathered together on the ice. Emperor penguins have developed a remarkable behavioral adaptation for surviving the harshest winter conditions. They form large huddles, pressing their bodies close together to share warmth. These huddles can contain thousands of birds, and the temperature at the center of a huddle can reach as high as 37 degrees Celsius, even when outside temperatures plummet to -50 degrees Celsius or below. Within these huddles, penguins continuously rotate their positions. Those on the cold outer edge gradually move toward the warm center, while those who have been warming in the center take their turn on the outside. This cooperative behavior ensures that all members of the group have the opportunity to warm up, even in the most extreme conditions. Penguins have also evolved a specialized system for keeping their feet from freezing. The arteries and veins in their legs run close together, allowing warm blood flowing from the body to transfer heat to the cold blood returning from the feet. This countercurrent heat exchange system keeps their extremities functional even when standing on ice for extended periods. Let your mind now wander beneath the waves, where penguins transform from awkward waddlers into graceful underwater acrobats. In the water, penguins are truly in their element, swimming with a speed and agility that seems impossible given their appearance on land. Penguins have the most streamlined body shape of almost any animal, allowing them to move through the water with remarkable efficiency. Their bodies are shaped like torpedoes, minimizing drag and allowing them to reach impressive speeds. The Gentoo penguin is the fastest swimming penguin, capable of reaching speeds of up to 36 kilometers per hour. Most penguin species cruise at more modest speeds of 7 to 10 kilometers per hour, but can achieve bursts of speed when pursuing prey or escaping predators. The wings of penguins have evolved into powerful flippers that propel them through the water. Unlike flying birds, which generate thrust primarily on the downstroke, penguins gain momentum from both the downstroke and the upstroke of their flippers. This efficient swimming style allows them to travel great distances with minimal energy expenditure. Penguins are remarkable divers, capable of reaching depths that would crush most other birds. Emperor penguins are the diving champions of the penguin world, regularly diving to depths of 150 to 250 meters in search of food. The deepest dive ever recorded for an emperor penguin reached an astonishing 565 meters, and the birds can remain submerged for over 20 minutes on a single breath. To achieve these remarkable feats, penguins have developed several specialized adaptations. Their blood contains an unusually structured hemoglobin that allows it to function at low oxygen levels. Their bones are dense and solid rather than hollow like those of flying birds, helping them to dive deep without suffering from the crushing pressure. They can also reduce their heart rate dramatically during dives, with emperor penguin heart rates dropping to as low as 3 to 6 beats per minute during extended dives. As penguins dive, their muscles must work without a continuous supply of oxygen. Research has shown that penguins have exquisite control over how their muscles use oxygen, allowing them to switch between different modes of metabolism depending on the demands of the dive. In some dives, they restrict blood flow to their muscles, forcing them to work anaerobically. In others, they send extra oxygen-rich blood to the muscles to prevent the buildup of lactic acid that would require extended recovery time. When penguins need to travel long distances at the surface, many species use a technique called porpoising. Like dolphins and porpoises, they leap in and out of the water, catching a breath each time they break the surface. This allows them to maintain speeds of 7 to 10 kilometers per hour while breathing regularly, and the leaping motion may also help to confuse underwater predators. Drifting deeper into relaxation, let your thoughts turn to the diverse diets of penguins and their hunting strategies. All penguins are carnivores, feeding on the rich marine life of the Southern Ocean. Their diets typically consist of fish, squid, and small crustaceans called krill, though the exact proportions vary depending on species and location. Krill are tiny shrimp-like creatures that form the foundation of the Antarctic food web. For many penguin species, particularly smaller ones like the Adelie and chinstrap penguins, krill make up the majority of their diet. A single Adelie penguin may consume around 2 pounds of food per day during the summer months when they are actively foraging. Larger penguin species like emperors and kings rely more heavily on fish. Emperor penguins are particularly fond of Antarctic silverfish, which can make up nearly 90% of their fish prey in some populations. These penguins hunt by diving deep beneath the ice, searching the cold waters for schools of fish that they capture in their powerful beaks. Penguins have several adaptations that make them efficient hunters. Their eyes are specially adapted for both underwater and above-water vision. The flattened corneas of penguin eyes have less refractive power than those of land animals, allowing them to see clearly underwater. Their spherical lenses can compensate for this flattening when they are on land. King penguins have particularly remarkable eyes that can expand their pupils up to 300 times their contracted size, allowing them to see in the dim light of deep water. Penguins catch their prey with their bills and swallow it whole while swimming. Their tongues are lined with backward-facing spines that help prevent slippery prey from escaping. Their powerful jaws can grip and crush crustaceans or hold firmly onto wriggling fish. Some penguin species have even been observed swallowing stones, which scientists believe may help reduce buoyancy during dives or aid in the digestion of tough crustacean shells. Different penguin species have developed different hunting strategies suited to their environments. Adelie penguins typically hunt in groups, diving together and sometimes coordinating their movements to herd schools of krill or fish. Emperor penguins often hunt alone, diving deep beneath the ice to find fish in the darkness. Galapagos penguins hunt in the warmer waters around the equator, feeding on small schooling fish like anchovies and sardines that thrive in the cold currents flowing past their island home. The hunting grounds of penguins can vary enormously. Adelie penguins may travel just 15 kilometers from their colony to find food, while king penguins can range up to 900 kilometers in a single foraging trip. Emperor penguins may cover distances of 164 to over 1,400 kilometers during their hunting expeditions, swimming and diving tirelessly through the cold Antarctic waters. As your body continues to sink into a state of deep relaxation, consider the remarkable communication systems that penguins have developed. Despite looking nearly identical to human eyes, penguins are able to recognize their mates and offspring among thousands of birds in a crowded colony through their unique vocalizations. Penguin calls are individually identifiable, like vocal fingerprints that allow each bird to be distinguished from all others. This ability is crucial for penguin survival, as parents must be able to locate their chicks among thousands of similar-looking birds when returning from feeding trips, and mates must find each other in the chaos of a breeding colony. There are 3 main types of penguin calls. Contact calls help penguins recognize and locate other members of their colony, and in emperor and king penguins, these calls can be heard from up to 1 kilometer away. Display calls are more complex vocalizations used between partners, conveying information about territory, sexual readiness, and individual identity. Threat calls are the simplest type, used to defend territory and warn other colony members about predators. Emperor and king penguins have developed a particularly sophisticated vocal recognition system that relies on their unique anatomy. Like many birds, penguins produce sound using an organ called the syrinx, which splits into 2 branches where the trachea connects to the lungs. This allows penguins to produce 2 separate frequencies simultaneously, creating a complex beating pattern that varies between individuals. Scientists have demonstrated that this 2-voice system is essential for individual recognition in emperor penguins. When researchers played modified calls with only 1 voice to penguins, Neither adults nor chicks responded, but they readily replied to control calls with both voices intact. The beating pattern created by the interaction of two frequencies not only carries individual identity information, but also propagates well through the dense crowds of penguin colonies. Different penguin species have distinctive vocalizations. African penguins are known as jackass penguins because their calls resemble the braying of a donkey. Gentoo penguins are considered among the most vocal of all penguin species, with elaborate and intense courtship calls that can continue for several consecutive days. King penguins emit repetitive vocalizations of varying intensity and frequency that allow parents to locate their chicks in crowded colonies numbering in the tens of thousands. Beyond vocalizations, penguins also communicate through body language. They use various postures and movements to convey messages to other penguins. A penguin that extends its flippers outward and raises its beak is signaling that it wants to avoid confrontation when passing through a crowded colony. Bowing displays reduce aggression and strengthen recognition between partners. During courtship, pairs may mirror each other's movements, walking together, bowing, and preening one another. Let your mind drift now to thoughts of penguin family life and the extraordinary dedication these birds show in raising their young. Penguins are known for their devoted parenting, with both mothers and fathers playing crucial roles in the survival of their offspring. Most penguin species are monogamous within a breeding season, meaning they pair with a single partner to raise their chicks. However, the degree of faithfulness varies between species. Some penguins, like chinstraps and gentoos, are remarkably loyal, reuniting with the same partner 82 to 90% of the time. Others, like king penguins, are more likely to change partners, with only about 29% of pairs reuniting from one year to the next. The courtship rituals of penguins are elaborate and often quite charming to human observers. Males typically arrive at breeding colonies first and establish their territories or refurbish their nests from the previous year. When females arrive, males engage in a variety of display behaviors to attract their attention. Emperor penguins perform their courtship in the darkness of the Antarctic winter. Males give ecstatic displays, standing still with their heads on their chests, inhaling deeply and giving long, trumpeting calls. When a female responds, the pair will stand face to face with their heads and necks extended upward, holding this posture for several minutes. They then waddle around the colony together, with the female usually following the male before eventually mating. Adelie penguins build nests from small pebbles, and males court females by presenting them with carefully selected stones. The male may search extensively to find the perfect pebble, carrying it in his beak and placing it at the female's feet. If she accepts his gift, she adds it to the nest, and he continues his efforts, stone by stone, until the nest is complete. The breeding cycle of emperor penguins is perhaps the most remarkable of any bird. Unlike other species that breed during the warmer months, emperor penguins breed during the brutal Antarctic winter. The breeding season begins in March and April, when mature birds make the long trek inland from the sea to their breeding colonies. This journey can cover 50 to 200 kilometers across the frozen landscape. Once at the colony, penguins engage in courtship and mating. The female produces a single egg in May or June, and what happens next is extraordinary. She carefully transfers the egg to her mate's feet, where he covers it with a fold of featherless skin called a brood pouch. This keeps the egg warm at about 38 degrees Celsius, while outside temperatures may plummet to -50 degrees or below. After transferring the egg, the female departs for the sea to feed, leaving her mate to incubate the egg alone. For the next 65 to 75 days, the male stands on the ice, balancing the egg on his feet and huddling with other males for warmth. During this time, he does not eat at all, relying entirely on the body fat he accumulated during the summer months. By the time the egg hatches in late July or August, the male has been fasting for up to 4 months and has lost nearly half his body weight. The female returns just as the chick is hatching, locating her mate among thousands of penguins by recognizing his unique call. She takes over caring for the tiny chick while the exhausted male finally returns to the sea to feed. The chicks of emperor penguins are tiny when they hatch, weighing only 150 to 200 grams, compared to their parents who may weigh 22 to 30 kilograms at this time. They are covered with a thin layer of down and cannot yet regulate their own body temperature, so they must remain in the brood pouch of their parents for the first 50 days of life. As the chicks grow, both parents take turns foraging and caring for their young. A chick needs approximately 42 kilograms of food from each parent to survive until it can hunt for itself. By September, the chicks have grown a thick covering of down and can leave the brood pouch to explore their surroundings. During this time, while parents are away foraging, chicks gather together in groups called creches. These gatherings help the young penguins stay warm and offer some protection from predators. By December and January, the chicks begin molting their juvenile down and growing their adult plumage. They then make their way to the sea, beginning their own lives as independent penguins. As you settle deeper into relaxation, let your thoughts drift to the challenges that penguins face from predators. Despite their adorable appearance, penguins live in a world where danger lurks both in the water and on the land. Leopard seals are among the most fearsome predators of penguins. These powerful seals can grow to 3.5 meters in length and weigh up to 320 kilograms. They patrol the waters near penguin colonies, waiting for birds to enter the sea. When hunting penguins, leopard seals use a terrifying technique. They grab the swimming bird by the feet, then shake it vigorously, beating the penguin's body against the surface of the water until it is dead. Leopard seals are particularly fond of emperor penguins, though they also prey on king, adelie, rockhopper, chinstrap, and gentoo penguins. The seals wait near ice edges, watching for penguins to dive into the water. The penguins know the danger and often hesitate at the water's edge. Eventually, one brave or perhaps desperate bird will take the plunge, and others quickly follow, hoping that safety lies in numbers. Killer whales, also known as orcas, occasionally prey on penguins as well. While penguins make up only a small portion of orca diets, these intelligent predators have developed sophisticated hunting techniques that make them formidable threats. Some orcas work together to create waves that wash penguins off ice floes and into the water where they can be caught. This behavior, called wave hunting, demonstrates the remarkable intelligence and cooperation of these marine mammals. Different types of orcas have been observed interacting with penguins. Type B orcas, which specialize in hunting seals, have been recorded chasing and feeding on emperor, gentoo, and chinstrap penguins. The predation usually occurs near seal rookeries, where the whales are actively hunting larger prey. In the water, penguins must also be wary of sharks. Great white sharks prey on penguins in some regions, using their keen senses of smell and hearing to locate the birds. The sharks particularly target penguins living in warmer waters, though their preference changes as they age and reach sexual maturity. On land, penguin eggs and chicks face threats from aerial predators. The South Polar skua is a large, fierce seabird that nests near penguin colonies specifically to prey on eggs and young chicks. These aggressive birds will swoop down to snatch eggs or attack unattended chicks, making constant vigilance essential for penguin parents. Giant petrels are another threat to penguin colonies. These large seabirds prey on sick or weak adult penguins as well as chicks. In regions outside Antarctica, penguins face additional land predators. Fairy penguins in Australia must watch out for foxes, feral dogs, and cats. Conservation programs have been implemented to protect these small penguins from introduced predators that have decimated some populations. Penguins have developed several strategies to avoid predators. They often travel in groups, which reduces the chance that any individual will be caught. Before entering the water, penguins will gather at the edge and wait, watching for signs of danger. Their black and white coloring provides camouflage in the water. From above, their dark backs blend with the depths of the ocean, while from below, their white bellies blend with the bright surface lit by the sun. As your eyelids grow heavy and sleep beckons, let the image of penguins bring you peace. Picture a vast colony of emperor penguins standing on the ice, their bodies pressed together for warmth as the Antarctic wind swirls around them. The sky above is dark and filled with stars, and the only sounds are the soft calls of parents to their chicks and the distant whisper of wind across the frozen landscape. Imagine the sun rising over a colony of Adelie penguins, their black and white forms dotting a rocky shore as they prepare for another day of fishing and caring for their young. The water sparkles in the early light, and somewhere beneath the waves, fish and krill go about their lives, unaware that they will soon become breakfast for hungry penguins. Picture the Gentoo penguins of the subantarctic islands, their orange beaks bright against the gray sky as they call to their mates. Their nests of pebbles and feathers cradle precious eggs that will soon hatch into fluffy chicks, continuing the cycle of life that has played out on these shores for millions of years. Envision the little blue penguins of Australia and New Zealand emerging from their burrows at dusk to waddle down to the sea. Under the cover of darkness, they will swim and hunt, then return to shore before dawn to rest and care for their young. Penguins have survived ice ages and warm periods, continental drift, and changing sea levels. They have adapted to life in some of the harshest environments on Earth, developing remarkable physical and behavioral traits that allow them to thrive where few other animals could survive. As sleep finally claims you, carry with you the knowledge that somewhere in the world, penguins are living their remarkable lives. They are diving deep beneath the waves in search of food. They are huddling together for warmth against the bitter cold. They are calling to their mates and caring for their young. They are waddling across ice and rock, sliding on their bellies, and swimming with grace and speed through frigid waters. These extraordinary birds remind us of the resilience and adaptability of life on Earth. They show us that even in the most challenging conditions, life finds a way to flourish, and they inspire us with their dedication to their families and their communities. Let the peaceful image of penguins accompany you into your dreams. May you rest as peacefully as a penguin chick nestled in its parent's brood pouch, warm and safe despite the cold world outside. May your sleep be as deep and restful as the ocean depths where emperor penguins hunt, far beneath the chaos of the surface. And when you wake, refreshed and renewed, may you carry with you a deeper appreciation for these remarkable birds and the extraordinary world they inhabit. For in learning about penguins, we learn about the wonders of nature, the power of adaptation, and the enduring bonds of family and community that unite all living things. Sleep now, dreaming of ice and ocean, of waddles and dives, of calls echoing across frozen landscapes, and the gentle warmth of a penguin colony gathered against the cold. The penguins will be there when you wake, continuing their ancient dance of survival and renewal in the farthest reaches of our beautiful planet. The world of penguins continues even as you drift into peaceful slumber. In colonies scattered across the southern hemisphere, life goes on in its eternal cycles. Eggs are laid and incubated. Chicks hatch and grow. Young penguins take their first plunge into the ocean. Adults hunt and return in the endless rhythm that has sustained these remarkable birds for millions of years. Each penguin is an individual, with its own unique voice that sets it apart from all others. Each penguin is part of something larger, a colony, a species, an ecosystem that stretches across vast expanses of ocean and ice. Each penguin carries within it the accumulated wisdom of countless generations, encoded in genes that have been refined by evolution over tens of millions of years. Think of the emperor penguin male, standing alone on the ice with an egg balanced on his feet, enduring months of darkness and cold in service to the next generation. Think of the mother who returns from the sea, her belly full of food for her newborn chick, calling out across the colony until she finds her mate. Think of the chick, taking its first tentative steps across the ice, discovering a world of endless wonder. Think of the Adelie penguin, gathering pebbles one by one to build a nest, presenting each stone to its mate as a gift of devotion. Think of the rockhopper, leaping from boulder to boulder with fearless determination, its yellow crest streaming behind it in the wind. Think of the little blue penguin, smallest of all, emerging from its burrow at dusk to embark on another nighttime adventure in the dark waters off the coast. These images of penguin life are now woven into your consciousness, ready to appear in your dreams and bring you moments of wonder and peace. As you sleep, your mind may wander through frozen landscapes where penguins march in endless procession. You may dive beneath the waves alongside these graceful swimmers, feeling the cold water rush past as you pursue fish through the blue depths. You may stand among a colony of thousands, hearing the chorus of calls that fills the Antarctic air. The story of penguins is far from over. Scientists continue to discover new facts about these fascinating birds, from the details of their physiology to the intricacies of their social behavior. New fossil discoveries reveal more about their ancient past, while ongoing observations tell us about their present and help us predict their future. Conservation efforts are expanding as we recognize the importance of protecting these iconic animals. Marine protected areas are being established in key penguin habitats. Fishing regulations are being developed to ensure that enough prey remains for penguins and other marine life. Climate research is helping us understand how changing conditions will affect penguin populations and what we can do to help them adapt. The penguins will endure, as they have endured for millions of years through ice ages and warm periods, through the rise and fall of other species, through changes in ocean currents and continental positions. They will continue to waddle and swim, to call and court, to raise their chicks and teach them the ways of penguin life. And humans will continue to be enchanted by these remarkable birds, to study them and protect them, to watch them in zoos and aquariums, and, for the fortunate few, in the wild expanses of the Southern Ocean. The connection between humans and penguins is one of fascination and affection, a relationship that enriches our lives and reminds us of the wonders that exist in the natural world. As the final waves of wakefulness recede and sleep takes you fully into its embrace, let gratitude fill your heart. Gratitude for the penguins and all they teach us about life, love, and perseverance. Gratitude for the scientists who study them and the conservationists who protect them. Gratitude for the filmmakers and writers who share their stories with the world. And gratitude for this moment of peace, this time of rest and renewal, when you can set aside the worries of the day and drift into the restorative realm of sleep. Like the penguin chick nestled against its parent, you are safe and warm. Like the emperor penguin in its huddle, you are surrounded by comfort and care. Sleep deeply now. Sleep peacefully. And know that the penguins are out there, living their extraordinary lives on the ice and in the sea, reminding us all of the beauty and resilience of life on this remarkable planet we call home. The Antarctic night is long and cold, but the penguins endure. They stand together, sharing warmth and waiting for the sun to return. They do not hurry or worry. They simply exist in the moment, trusting in the rhythms of nature that have sustained them through the ages. You too can exist in the moment now, letting go of thoughts about tomorrow or yesterday. There is only this breath, this heartbeat, this gentle drift towards sleep. There is only the comfort of your bed and the peace of the night around you. The penguins ask nothing of you except that you rest. They carry on their lives without your attention, swimming and hunting and caring for their young as they have always done. But perhaps, in some small way, your awareness of them matters. Perhaps knowing that penguins exist, that they endure and thrive in their frozen world, brings a measure of hope and wonder to your own life. That hope and wonder can sustain you through difficult times, just as the fat reserves of an emperor penguin sustain it through the long winter fast. That connection to the natural world can ground you and remind you of what truly matters, just as the call of a penguin mate draws its partner home across vast distances of ice and ocean. Sleep now with the penguins in your heart. Sleep with images of frozen seas and huddled colonies, of diving birds and waddling chicks. Sleep with the knowledge that somewhere on this earth, extraordinary creatures are living extraordinary lives, and that you are connected to them through the web of life that unites all living things. The southern stars wheel slowly overhead as the Antarctic night continues. The penguins are still there, gathered together on the ice, their breath rising in small clouds that dissipate quickly in the frigid air. Some are sleeping, heads tucked back against their bodies. Others are awake, watchful, caring for eggs or chicks, or simply standing guard against the dangers of the night. The ocean continues its eternal movement, waves breaking against the ice edge with a soft, rhythmic sound. Beneath the surface, fish and krill move through the dark water, unaware of the penguins that will hunt them when dawn finally comes. The whole ecosystem is interconnected, each species playing its part in the grand drama of life. You are part of this interconnected world too. Though you may be far from Antarctica, far from the ice and the penguins, you share this planet with them. The air you breathe and the water you drink have circulated around the globe, perhaps passing through Antarctic seas where penguins swim. The food you eat is connected through complex networks to the health of oceans and ecosystems everywhere. This knowledge can bring both responsibility and comfort. Responsibility because your choices matter, because what you do affects the world around you. Comfort because you are not alone, because you are part of something vast and ancient and ongoing. As sleep deepens around you like the waters of the Southern Ocean, let these thoughts settle into your subconscious, ready to inform your dreams and shape your waking hours. Let the penguins be a symbol of resilience and adaptation, of community and care, of the enduring wonder of the natural world. Tomorrow is another day. There will be challenges to face and work to do. But tonight, there is only rest. Tonight, there is only sleep. Tonight, there are only penguins, standing on the ice at the bottom of the world, living their lives as they have for millions of years. Now let us explore the diversity of penguin species found around the world in greater detail. While many people associate penguins with Antarctica, these remarkable birds live in a variety of habitats across the southern hemisphere, from tropical islands to frigid ice shelves. The Galapagos penguin holds the distinction of being the only penguin species found north of the equator. These small penguins live on the Galapagos Islands off the coast of Ecuador, surviving in tropical temperatures thanks to the cold, nutrient-rich waters of the Humboldt Current. Galapagos penguins feed on small schooling fish like anchovies, sardines, and mullet that thrive in these cooler waters. They are among the rarest penguins in the world, with a population of only about 2,000 individuals. African penguins, also known as jackass penguins for their distinctive braying calls, live along the coasts of South Africa and Namibia. They are the only penguin species native to Africa and nest in burrows or under bushes to escape the heat. Their population has declined dramatically in recent decades due to overfishing, oil spills, and habitat loss, making them an endangered species. Conservation efforts are underway to protect their remaining colonies and help the population recover. The Humboldt penguin inhabits the cold coastal waters of Chile and Peru, sharing its range with the Humboldt Current for which it is named. These medium-sized penguins have distinctive black faces with white rings around them and pink patches of skin below their bills. They nest in burrows dug into guano deposits or in caves and crevices along the rocky coastline. Magellanic penguins are found along the coasts of Argentina and Chile, named after the explorer Ferdinand Magellan, who first spotted them during his famous voyage around the world. These penguins dig burrows in the ground for nesting, sometimes traveling several kilometers inland to find suitable sites. They share many characteristics with their close relatives, the Humboldt, African, and Galapagos penguins. The yellow-eyed penguin is one of the rarest penguin species in the world, with a population estimated at fewer than 7,000 individuals. These striking birds, named for their distinctive pale yellow eyes, live in New Zealand and are unusual in that they nest in isolated pairs rather than large colonies. They dwell in forests and grassy coastlines rather than the barren landscapes typically associated with penguins. Fiordland penguins are another rare New Zealand species, known for their shyness and the challenging terrain they inhabit. They nest in the temperate rainforests along the rugged coast of Fiordland, scaling steep cliffs to reach their nesting sites. Their yellow crests sweep back from their eyes, giving them a distinctive appearance. Snares penguins are found only on the Snares Islands, a small group of islands south of New Zealand. These medium-sized crested penguins are excellent climbers, often scaling steep cliffs to reach their nesting grounds. They are rarely seen away from their breeding islands, making them one of the least studied penguin species. Rockhopper penguins are small, aggressive birds known for their red eyes and bright yellow crests. They get their name from their distinctive hopping movement as they navigate the rocky terrain of their habitats. Unlike other penguins that waddle or slide, rockhoppers bound from rock to rock with remarkable agility. There are multiple species of rockhopper penguins, including northern and southern varieties that live on different subantarctic islands. Macaroni penguins are among the most numerous penguins in the world, with an estimated population of around 11 million individuals. They are easily recognized by their bright orange-yellow crests and black faces. These penguins live in the subantarctic and Antarctic regions, forming huge colonies on hillsides and rocky cliffs. Their name comes from the elaborate feathered hats worn by fashionable young men in 18th century England, known as macaronis. Royal penguins look very similar to macaroni penguins, but have white faces instead of black ones. They are found only on Macquarie Island and surrounding areas in the Pacific Ocean. Scientists debate whether royal penguins are truly a distinct species or simply a color variant of the macaroni penguin. Adelie penguins are the most widely distributed penguin species in Antarctica, found all around the continental coastline. They are named after Adelie Land, which in turn was named for the wife of French explorer Jules Dumont d'Urville, who discovered these penguins in 1840. Adelie penguins are recognized by the distinctive white rings around their eyes and the short black feathers that cover much of their bills. Chinstrap penguins get their name from the thin black line that runs under their chins, making it look as though they are wearing a helmet with a chin strap. These penguins are found on islands in the Antarctic and subantarctic regions and are known for their aggressive behavior, often getting into fights with other penguins. They can live for about 20 years and sometimes form colonies on icebergs floating in the open ocean. Gentoo penguins are recognizable by their bright orange beaks and the white patches above their eyes. They are the third largest penguin species and are known for their speed in the water. Gentoo penguins are found on many subantarctic islands as well as the Antarctic peninsula. They are highly vocal birds with elaborate courtship calls, and they show strong fidelity to their mates, reuniting with the same partner about 90% of the time. King penguins are the second largest penguin species, standing 85 to 95 centimeters tall. They have beautiful orange and yellow markings on their heads, ears, and upper chests that fade into their white bellies. King penguins have a unique breeding cycle that takes over a year to complete, meaning they can raise at most 2 chicks every 3 years. As you continue to drift in the peaceful space between waking and sleeping, let your mind wander through the remarkable journeys that penguins undertake. These birds may appear awkward on land, but they are capable of traveling extraordinary distances, both on foot and in the water. Emperor penguins make some of the longest journeys of any penguin species. When they leave their breeding colonies to forage, they may swim hundreds of kilometers in search of food. Tagged individuals have been recorded swimming well over 4,000 kilometers during a single foraging trip, covering distances that seem impossible for birds that cannot fly. The annual migration of emperor penguins to their breeding grounds is one of nature's most remarkable spectacles. In autumn, as the sea ice begins to form, thousands of penguins emerge from the water and begin walking inland. They follow established routes, sometimes traveling up to 200 kilometers to reach their traditional breeding sites. This journey can take days or even weeks, depending on the distance and conditions. The penguins walk in long lines, following the leader in single file across the frozen landscape. When conditions are right, they toboggan on their bellies, pushing themselves along with their flippers and feet, covering ground more quickly and efficiently than by walking. The timing of this migration is driven by the need to breed during the Antarctic winter. By starting the breeding process in autumn, emperor penguins ensure that their chicks will be ready to go to sea during the summer months when food is most abundant and conditions are more favorable for inexperienced swimmers. Adelie penguins undertake their own remarkable journeys. During the Antarctic winter, when their breeding grounds are locked in ice and darkness, these penguins roam the pack ice, traveling wherever the conditions lead them. Some individuals have been tracked swimming up to 3,000 kilometers to return to their spring nesting grounds, demonstrating extraordinary navigational abilities. Scientists believe penguins navigate using a combination of methods. They can orient themselves using the sun and possibly the stars. They may sense the Earth's magnetic field, giving them an internal compass. They appear to remember landmarks and routes from previous journeys, and they may use their sense of smell to detect the distinctive odors of their colonies as they approach from sea. The homing ability of penguins is truly remarkable. Researchers have transported penguins hundreds of kilometers from their colonies and released them, only to have the birds find their way home across unfamiliar terrain. This navigational skill is essential for survival, allowing penguins to forage far from their colonies and still return to feed their waiting chicks. As sleep continues to embrace you, consider the fascinating social structures of penguin colonies. These communities can range from just a few dozen birds to several 100,000, representing some of the largest gatherings of any bird species. The largest penguin colony in the world is found on Zavodovsky Island in the South Sandwich Islands, where approximately 2 million chinstrap penguins gather to breed. The island is transformed by their presence, covered in their bodies and their waste, the air filled with their calls. From a distance, the colony looks like a living carpet spread across the volcanic slopes. Life in a large penguin colony is noisy and chaotic. Birds are constantly arriving and departing, greeting their mates, feeding their chicks, and defending their territories. The sound can be overwhelming to human ears, a constant cacophony of calls, squawks, and disputes. Despite this apparent chaos, penguin colonies are highly organized societies. Each breeding pair maintains its own small territory, usually centered on a nest or a particular spot on the ice. Neighbors learn to recognize each other and respect territorial boundaries, though disputes are common and sometimes violent. The pecking order in penguin colonies is maintained through a system of displays and vocalizations. Aggressive penguins will stand tall, extend their flippers, and call loudly to intimidate rivals. Submissive birds crouch low and avoid eye contact. Through these displays, most conflicts are resolved without physical contact. When fights do occur, they can be intense. Penguins strike with their flippers, which are surprisingly strong and can deliver painful blows. They also bite, using their sharp beaks to grab opponents. Serious injuries are rare, as losing birds typically retreat before suffering significant damage. Territory is particularly important for penguins that build nests. Adelie penguins construct their nests from small pebbles, which they collect from the surrounding area and arrange into circular mounds. These pebbles are valuable, and penguins will steal them from neighboring nests whenever the opportunity arises. The theft of nesting materials is so common in Adelie penguin colonies that it has become an integral part of their social dynamics. Birds must constantly guard their nests against theft while also looking for opportunities to expand their own collections. This creates a complex web of interactions and rivalries that keeps the colony in constant motion. Gentoo penguins also build pebble nests, and they have been observed creating impressively large structures. One medium-sized Gentoo nest that was studied contained over 1,700 pebbles and 70 molted tail feathers, representing a significant investment of time and energy by the breeding pair. Not all penguins build elaborate nests. Magellanic penguins dig burrows in the ground, sometimes traveling several kilometers inland to find suitable sites. These burrows provide protection from predators and from the sun, keeping the eggs and chicks cool during warm weather. Emperor and king penguins build no nests at all. They incubate their eggs on their feet, keeping them warm beneath a fold of skin called a brood pouch. This adaptation allows them to breed on sea ice or on barren beaches where no nesting materials are available. The emperor penguin is unique in being the only species of penguin that is not territorial. Because they must huddle together for warmth during the brutal Antarctic winter, defending individual territories would be counterproductive. Instead, emperor penguins share space freely, moving in and out of huddles as needed to maintain their body temperature. As your breathing becomes even slower and more regular, let your mind consider the daily rhythms that govern penguin lives. Like all animals, penguins experience cycles of activity and rest, of feeding and fasting, of breeding and recovery. The daily routine of a foraging penguin is dictated by the movements of its prey. Many penguin species hunt during the day when light penetrates the water and vision is most effective. They dive repeatedly, rest at the surface, and dive again, working through the hours until hunger is satisfied or conditions change. Some species adjust their hunting based on the behavior of their prey. Krill and certain fish rise toward the surface at night and descend during the day, a pattern called diel vertical migration. Penguins may follow this rhythm, feeding at different depths depending on the time of day. During the breeding season, the rhythms of penguin life become more complex. Parents must balance the demands of incubation and chick rearing with their own need to feed. In most species, partners take turns, with one staying at the nest while the other forages. The length of foraging trips varies enormously between species and situations. Adelie penguins breeding near abundant food sources may be away for just a day or two. King penguins with older chicks may leave for weeks at a time, trusting their well-insulated offspring to survive the wait. Chicks have their own daily rhythms. They sleep, wake, beg for food, and explore their surroundings in patterns that change as they grow. Very young chicks spend most of their time sleeping, conserving energy for growth. Older chicks are more active, playing with neighbors and gradually developing the strength they will need for life at sea. The annual cycle of penguin breeding is timed to take advantage of favorable conditions. Most species breed during the Antarctic summer, when daylight is long and food is relatively abundant. Emperor penguins are the notable exception, breeding during the winter to ensure their chicks are ready to go to sea during the summer months. After breeding, penguins enter a period of intense feeding, building up the fat reserves they will need for the annual molt. During the molt, they cannot enter the water and must fast on land for 2 to 3 weeks while their feathers are replaced. This process is sometimes called a catastrophic molt because of its dramatic and rapid nature. Following the molt, penguins disperse from their colonies to feed and recover. Some species remain in the general area throughout the year. Others undertake long migrations, traveling thousands of kilometers to reach productive feeding grounds far from their breeding sites. As you rest in the peaceful embrace of sleep, let your thoughts drift to the smaller details of penguin life. In the midst of grand journeys and dramatic struggles for survival, penguins engage in countless small behaviors that reveal their intelligence and adaptability. Penguins show clear evidence of individual personalities. Some birds are bold and curious, approaching unfamiliar objects or observers without fear. Others are shy and cautious, hanging back and watching before committing to any action. These personality differences appear to be stable over time, with individuals maintaining their characteristic temperaments across years. The problem-solving abilities of penguins have been demonstrated in various studies. Birds can learn to navigate mazes, recognize symbols, and solve simple puzzles to obtain food rewards. Their cognitive abilities may be more sophisticated than their small brains would suggest. Penguins remember locations with remarkable precision. They return to the same breeding sites year after year, sometimes occupying the exact same nest location. This site fidelity is so strong that birds will wait at traditional sites even when conditions there have become unsuitable. The play behavior of penguin chicks suggests the capacity for enjoyment and recreation. Young birds chase each other, engage in mock fights, and explore their surroundings with apparent curiosity. Adult penguins have been observed surfing waves and sliding repeatedly down icy slopes, behavior that appears to serve no practical purpose other than fun. Social learning plays an important role in penguin lives. Young birds learn from watching their parents and other adults, gradually acquiring the skills they need for survival. Behaviors like hunting techniques and migration routes may be passed from generation to generation through this social transmission. Penguins form bonds with their partners that go beyond simple breeding convenience. Pairs engage in mutual preening, standing close together, and synchronizing their behaviors in ways that suggest genuine attachment. Partners separated by foraging trips show clear signs of recognition and apparent pleasure when reunited. The grieving behavior of penguins when they lose mates or offspring has been documented by researchers. Birds may return repeatedly to sites where partners have died, calling out as if searching for the lost individual. Whether this represents grief in the human sense is impossible to know, but it suggests emotional complexity beyond basic instinct. Around 1 in 50,000 penguins of most species are born with brown rather than black plumage. These unusual birds are called isabeline penguins, and their coloration is different from albinism. Unfortunately, isabeline penguins tend to live shorter lives than their normally colored counterparts. Their unusual appearance makes them more visible to predators, and they are often passed over as potential mates by other penguins. Penguins have several ways of dealing with overheating, which can be just as dangerous as the cold for these well-insulated birds. When an Adelie penguin gets too warm, it diverts blood to its thin wings, causing the white undersides to turn a faint pink color as heat radiates away. Penguins may also pant like dogs, fluff their feathers to release trapped warm air, or hold their flippers away from their bodies to increase heat loss. The relationship between penguins and their environment extends to the nutrients they cycle through ecosystems. Penguin guano, or droppings, is rich in nitrogen and phosphorus, and the accumulated waste from large colonies can significantly affect the surrounding land and sea. In some areas, guano deposits from centuries of penguin occupation have created unique soils that support distinct plant communities. The nutrients from penguin guano flow into the surrounding ocean, fertilizing the water and supporting the growth of phytoplankton. These microscopic plants form the base of the marine food web, ultimately supporting the fish and krill that penguins depend upon for food. In this way, penguins contribute to the productivity of their own feeding grounds. Climate change is altering penguin habitats in ways that scientists are still working to understand. Rising temperatures are causing sea ice to form later and melt earlier in some areas, reducing the time that ice-dependent species have to breed and feed. Changes in ocean currents are affecting the distribution of prey species, forcing penguins to travel farther to find food. Some penguin populations are adapting to these changes. Colonies have been observed moving to new locations when traditional sites become unsuitable. Some emperor penguins have even been found breeding on ice shelves rather than sea ice, climbing steep cliffs to reach higher, more stable ground. Whether these adaptations will be sufficient to sustain populations in the face of continued warming remains to be seen. Other populations are struggling. Emperor penguin colonies in some areas have experienced catastrophic breeding failures as sea ice has broken up too early, sending thousands of chicks into the water before they are ready to swim. These events highlight the vulnerability of penguins to rapid environmental change. Conservation efforts are helping to protect penguin populations around the world. Marine protected areas limit fishing in critical penguin habitats. Programs to remove introduced predators have helped some populations recover. Research continues to improve our understanding of penguin biology and the threats they face, informing better conservation strategies. The penguins of Edinburgh Zoo hold a special place in conservation history and popular culture. A king penguin named Nils Olav was adopted by the Norwegian King's Guard in 1972 and has been promoted through military ranks over the years. In 2008, he was knighted by the King of Norway, making him Sir Nils Olav, Colonel-in-Chief of the Norwegian Guard. This charming tradition highlights the affection that people around the world feel for these remarkable birds. Penguins have captured human imagination for centuries. The word penguin first appeared in literature at the end of the 16th century, originally as a name for the great auk, a now extinct bird of the northern hemisphere. When European explorers discovered the birds we know today as penguins in the southern hemisphere, they noticed their similar appearance to the great auk and gave them the same name, though the two species are not closely related. The etymology of the word penguin is still debated by scholars. Some believe it comes from Welsh words meaning white head, though penguins do not have white heads. Others suggest it derives from a Latin word meaning fat, which fits better with the plump appearance of these birds. The related German word for penguin, Fetkens, literally means fat goose. Penguins have become beloved figures in popular culture, appearing in films, books, and advertising around the world. The documentary March of the Penguins captivated audiences with its portrayal of emperor penguins surviving the Antarctic winter. The animated film Happy Feet featured a young emperor penguin with a talent for tap dancing. These and countless other portrayals have made penguins some of the most recognizable and beloved animals on Earth. In the stillness of the night, as your body rests and your mind wanders through dreams, the penguins continue their eternal cycles. They do not know you are thinking of them, and they need no audience for their remarkable lives. They simply exist, doing what penguins have done for millions of years. Somewhere on the Antarctic ice, an emperor penguin is standing alone, an egg balanced on its feet, waiting patiently for its mate to return. The temperature is far below zero, the wind is howling across the barren landscape, but the penguin stands firm, protecting the next generation against impossible odds. Somewhere off the coast of South Africa, an African penguin is diving through the murky water, chasing a school of sardines that flashes silver in the dim light. The water is cool, the current is strong, but the penguin is perfectly adapted to this environment, hunting with efficiency born of millions of years of evolution. Somewhere in New Zealand, a little blue penguin is emerging from its burrow as dusk falls, ready to begin another night of fishing in the coastal waters. The world above is quiet and dark. The predators that threaten its daytime movements are sleeping, and the penguin sets off down the familiar path to the sea. Somewhere in the Galapagos Islands, a penguin unlike any other is swimming in tropical waters, feeding on fish that thrive in the cold current flowing past these equatorial islands. This is the only penguin north of the equator, a testament to the adaptability of its kind. These penguins and millions more are living their lives right now, as you sleep. They are swimming and walking, calling and hunting, caring for eggs and chicks and mates. They are part of a story that has been unfolding for 60 million years and will continue long after we are gone. You carry a piece of their story with you now, having learned about their lives and their world. This knowledge connects you to them across the vast distances that separate you, creating a bond of understanding and appreciation. May this connection bring you peace as you sleep. May the image of penguins, steadfast against the cold, determined in their devotion to family and community, remind you of the resilience that exists within all living things. May the knowledge that these remarkable creatures continue to thrive in some of the harshest environments on Earth give you hope for the future of our planet. The night is long, but dawn will come. The winter is cold, but spring will return. The challenges are great, but life finds a way. This is the lesson of the penguins, written in their bodies and their behaviors, proven by their survival through millions of years of change. Rest now in the comfort of this knowledge. Sleep deeply, knowing that the natural world continues in all its wonder while you recover your strength. Dream of ice and ocean, of wattles and dives, of calls echoing across frozen landscapes, and the gentle warmth of bodies huddled together against the cold. And when you wake, refreshed and renewed, remember the penguins. Remember their resilience and their dedication. Remember the way they care for their young and support each other through difficult times. Remember that you share this planet with creatures capable of surviving the most extreme conditions through cooperation and adaptation. The penguins will be there when you wake, continuing their ancient dance of survival. And you will be there too, ready to face another day, strengthened by rest and inspired by the remarkable lives of these extraordinary birds. Sleep peacefully now. The penguins are watching over the night, standing sentinel on distant shores, swimming through dark waters, huddling against the cold. They do not sleep as we do, but they understand rest and recovery, the need to conserve energy for the challenges ahead. In the quiet of this moment, as sleep takes you fully into its embrace, let everything else fade away. There are no worries here, no problems to solve, no decisions to make. There is only the gentle rhythm of your breath, the comfort of your bed, and the peaceful images of penguins that have filled your mind tonight. Somewhere in the southern hemisphere, the sun is rising or setting over a penguin colony. Light is playing across ice and water, illuminating the black and white forms of these beloved birds. Whether you picture this scene or drift into darker, deeper sleep, the penguins are there, living their lives as they have always done. This is the final gift of the penguins to you tonight. Not their feathers or their fat, not their swimming speed or their diving depth, but their simple persistence, their uncomplaining acceptance of the lives they were born to live, their determination to survive and reproduce despite every obstacle. May you carry this gift with you into tomorrow and all the days that follow. May you face your own challenges with the resilience of an emperor penguin standing against the Antarctic wind. May you care for those you love with the devotion of a penguin parent feeding its chick. May you find your place in the community of life with the sure instinct of a penguin returning to its colony. The night is passing, but sleep continues. The penguins are still there, and so are you, resting and dreaming and preparing for whatever comes next. The story of penguins never ends, and neither does your connection to them once established. They are part of your world now, and you are part of theirs. Sleep deeply, dream peacefully, and wake refreshed, ready to carry the lessons of the penguins into your waking life. Rest well, and may your dreams be filled with the wonder of penguins and the beauty of the natural world they represent. The life of a penguin begins inside an egg, a seemingly fragile vessel that must survive extraordinary conditions. Penguin eggs vary in size and shape depending on the species. Emperor and king penguin eggs are pear-shaped, with one end tapering almost to a point. This unique shape serves an important purpose. If the egg rolls off a parent's feet, it will travel in a tight circle rather than rolling away across the ice, increasing the chances that the parent can recover it. The shells of penguin eggs are remarkably thick, providing protection against the harsh conditions of Antarctic environments. Inside the egg, the developing chick grows slowly, nourished by the yolk that contains all the nutrients it needs. The incubation period varies by species, ranging from about 4 weeks in erect-crested penguins to 66 days in emperor penguins. When the time comes to hatch, penguin chicks use a special temporary tooth called an egg tooth to break through the shell. This process can take up to 3 days, requiring enormous effort from the tiny chick. Once free of the shell, the exhausted newborn is wet and vulnerable, depending entirely on its parents for warmth and protection. The parental care provided by penguins is among the most devoted in the animal kingdom. Most penguin species share incubation duties between both parents, taking turns sitting on the eggs while the other forages for food. This cooperation allows both parents to maintain their strength and ensures that the eggs are never left unattended. The male emperor penguin can produce a special curd-like substance to feed his newly hatched chick if the female has not yet returned from her feeding trip. This emergency food, produced by glands in the esophagus, can sustain the chick for up to 2 weeks, giving the mother extra time to return with the fish and krill that will become the chick's main diet. When penguin chicks are very young, they cannot regulate their own body temperature. They must remain in contact with their parents' warm bodies, tucked into brood pouches or huddled beneath protective wings. As they grow and develop their downy covering, they gradually gain the ability to maintain their own body heat. In many penguin species, older chicks gather together in groups called creches while both parents are away foraging. These gatherings can include dozens or even hundreds of young penguins, providing safety in numbers and allowing the chicks to huddle together for warmth. Adults returning with food can locate their own chicks by their unique calls, feeding only their offspring despite the many begging mouths around them. The transition from downy chick to sleek adult is a dramatic process. Juvenile plumage, which is similar in pattern to adult feathers but often duller in color, replaces the fluffy down over a period of weeks. Only when this transformation is complete can young penguins enter the water and begin learning to hunt for themselves. Young penguins must learn many skills before they can survive on their own. Swimming comes naturally, but hunting efficiently requires practice. Young birds often spend their first weeks at sea learning to catch prey, gradually improving their technique until they can sustain themselves. The timing of this independence is crucial. In emperor penguins, chicks go to sea weighing only about 60% of adult weight, which is the lowest proportion for any penguin species. The lifespan of penguins varies considerably between species. Smaller species like the little blue penguin typically live for 6 to 10 years in the wild, while larger species can live much longer. Emperor penguins can live up to 40 years in the wild, though most do not reach this age. The average lifespan for most penguin species is 15 to 20 years, with survival rates varying based on food availability, predation pressure, and environmental conditions. Penguins face different mortality risks at different stages of their lives. Eggs and young chicks are vulnerable to predators like skuas and giant petrels, as well as to starvation if parents cannot find enough food. Young penguins entering the sea for the first time face high mortality rates as they learn to hunt and avoid predators. Adult penguins have higher survival rates, typically 90 to 95% per year, though harsh conditions can cause significant mortality events. The challenges that penguins face vary by species and location. Antarctic penguins must contend with extreme cold and limited food availability during winter. Temperate penguins face different challenges, including competition with commercial fisheries for prey, pollution, and introduced predators. Tropical penguins like the Galapagos penguin must cope with periodic El Niño events that warm ocean waters and reduce food supplies. Despite these challenges, penguins have proven remarkably adaptable over their 60 million year history. They have survived ice ages and warm periods, the rise and fall of predator populations, and dramatic changes in ocean conditions. This resilience gives hope that they can adapt to the challenges posed by modern climate change, though the pace of current changes may exceed their ability to respond. The intelligence and awareness of penguins continues to surprise researchers. Studies have shown that penguins can recognize themselves in mirrors, suggesting a level of self-awareness previously thought to exist only in humans and a few other species. They can count, at least to small numbers, and remember the locations of food caches over extended periods. Penguins also show evidence of planning and forethought. Before long fasting periods, they deliberately eat more to build up fat reserves. They adjust their hunting behavior based on the needs of their growing chicks. They time their molt to coincide with periods when food is abundant enough to support the energy demands of growing new feathers. The social intelligence of penguins is equally impressive. They navigate complex colonial societies, recognizing hundreds of individuals and maintaining relationships over many years. They cooperate in hunting, share warmth in huddles, and coordinate the care of their young with remarkable precision. As you continue to rest peacefully, consider the sensory world of penguins. These birds experience their environment in ways that are both similar to and different from our own perceptions. Penguin vision is remarkable for its adaptability. Their eyes must function both in the bright sunlight of an Antarctic summer day and in the darkness of deep ocean waters. The structure of their eyes allows them to see clearly in both air and water, a feat that requires complex optical adaptations. The retinas of penguin eyes contain a high density of light-sensitive cells, giving them excellent low-light vision for hunting in dim conditions. Some species have a yellow oil droplet filter in their eyes that may enhance their ability to see certain colors or to cut through the blue haze of underwater light. Penguins appear to see colors, including wavelengths in the ultraviolet range that are invisible to human eyes. This UV sensitivity may play a role in mate selection, as the bright yellow and orange markings on some penguin species reflect UV light in ways that vary between individuals. The hearing of penguins is well developed and crucial for communication. They can hear a wide range of frequencies, both in air and underwater. Their ability to localize sounds allows them to find their mates and chicks in crowded, noisy colonies where thousands of birds may be calling at once. Underwater, penguins may use sound to detect prey or predators, though this ability has not been extensively studied. Some researchers believe that penguins can hear the sounds made by schools of fish or krill, helping them locate food in the darkness of deep water. The sense of smell in penguins was long thought to be poorly developed, but recent research suggests otherwise. Penguins appear to use scent to recognize family members, navigate to their colonies, and possibly to detect the presence of prey in the water. The olfactory bulbs in penguin brains are larger than previously appreciated, indicating that smell plays a more important role in their lives than scientists once believed. Touch is important for penguins, particularly in their social interactions. Mutual preening strengthens bonds between mates and may communicate information about health and condition. Chicks rely on touch to locate their parents' brood pouches, and the warmth of contact is essential for their survival in cold conditions. The sense of taste in penguins is reduced compared to many other birds. They appear to be unable to detect sweet, bitter, or umami flavors, retaining only the ability to taste salt and sour. This limited palate makes sense for animals that swallow their prey whole while swimming and have little need for the complex flavor discrimination that guides the feeding choices of other species. Penguins may also have a magnetic sense that allows them to detect the Earth's magnetic field. This ability, which has been demonstrated in many migratory species, could help penguins navigate during their long foraging trips and return accurately to their breeding colonies. The thermoregulatory abilities of penguins deserve special attention, as they represent some of the most impressive adaptations in the animal kingdom. These birds must maintain a constant body temperature of around 38 degrees Celsius in environments that range from tropical heat to temperatures far below freezing. In cold conditions, penguins employ multiple strategies to conserve heat. Their dense, overlapping feathers create an insulating layer that can be adjusted by raising or lowering the feathers. Beneath the feathers, a thick layer of fat provides additional insulation and serves as an energy reserve during fasting periods. The circulatory system of penguins includes specialized heat exchangers in their flippers and legs. Arteries carrying warm blood from the body core run alongside veins carrying cool blood back from the extremities. Heat transfers from the warm arterial blood to the cool venous blood, keeping the core warm while allowing the extremities to operate at lower temperatures. When overheating becomes a risk, penguins can reverse these processes. They increase blood flow to their flippers and feet, which act as radiators to release excess heat. They may pant to increase evaporative cooling from their respiratory tract. They seek shade or enter the water to cool down. The behavioral thermoregulation of penguins is equally sophisticated. Emperor penguins in huddles rotate positions to share both the warmth of the center and the cold of the edge. Penguins in warm climates avoid midday heat by resting in burrows or shaded areas. The timing of activities like foraging and breeding often coincides with favorable thermal conditions. As your mind drifts peacefully toward deeper sleep, consider the future of penguins in a changing world. These birds have survived for tens of millions of years, adapting to countless environmental changes. But the pace of current climate change presents challenges unlike any they have faced before. Scientists are working to understand how penguin populations will respond to warming temperatures, changing sea ice patterns, and shifts in prey distribution. Some species may be able to adapt by moving to new locations or adjusting the timing of their breeding cycles. Others may face significant population declines if their specialized adaptations cannot cope with rapid environmental change. Conservation efforts are expanding to protect penguins and their habitats. Marine protected areas are being established in key feeding grounds. Fishing regulations are being developed to ensure that enough prey remains for penguins and other wildlife. Research programs are monitoring penguin populations and identifying the factors that most affect their survival. Education and awareness play crucial roles in penguin conservation. The more people know about these remarkable birds and the challenges they face, the more support there will be for conservation efforts. Programs that bring penguins to public attention through zoos, aquariums, documentaries, and nature tourism help build the connection between humans and wildlife that motivates protection. Individual actions also matter for penguin conservation. Reducing carbon emissions helps slow climate change and protect penguin habitats. Supporting sustainable fisheries ensures that there is enough prey for penguins and other marine life. Properly disposing of plastics and other waste prevents pollution from harming marine ecosystems. The future of penguins ultimately depends on the choices we make as a species. We have the power to protect these remarkable birds and the ecosystems they depend upon. We also have the power to destroy them through inaction or neglect. The decision is ours, and it will be made through countless small choices by millions of people around the world. As you rest now, know that you are part of this decision. Your awareness of penguins, your appreciation for their remarkable lives, and your concern for their future all contribute to the global effort to protect them. Even in sleep, you carry within you the knowledge and connection that can make a difference. The penguins will continue their lives regardless of what we do. They will waddle and swim, call and court, raise their chicks, and endure the cold. They have done so for millions of years and will continue for as long as conditions allow. But with our help, with our protection and our care, the penguins can thrive for millions of years more. They can continue to inspire wonder in generation after generation of humans. They can continue to play their vital role in marine ecosystems. They can continue to be the charming, resilient, extraordinary birds that have captured our hearts. This is the hope that penguins offer us as we face an uncertain future. Not the hope that everything will be easy, but the hope that comes from knowing that life can endure, adapt, and flourish even in the most challenging conditions. The penguins show us what is possible when creatures are perfectly adapted to their environment and devoted to the survival of their kind. Carry this hope with you into your dreams. Let it sustain you through the night and into the morning. And when you wake, let it inspire you to make the choices that will help protect penguins and all the remarkable creatures with whom we share this planet. The night continues its slow progression toward dawn. The stars wheel overhead, the same stars that shine down on penguin colonies at the bottom of the world. The Earth turns, carrying sleeping humans and waking penguins through space together, united in the miracle of life on this small, beautiful planet. Sleep peacefully, dreaming of penguins. And know that somewhere, always, the penguins are there, living their extraordinary lives and showing us what it means to endure. Rest now. The penguins will keep watch through the night, and they will be there when you wake, continuing their ancient story in a world that is always changing but always beautiful. Sleep deeply and peacefully, surrounded by the knowledge and images of these remarkable birds. May your rest be complete, your dreams be peaceful, and your waking be refreshed. The penguins send their silent blessing across the miles that separate you. Though they do not know you are thinking of them, the connection you have formed tonight is real and meaningful. You are part of their world now, and they are part of yours. Good night, and may your dreams carry you gently through the hours until morning comes again. As you continue drifting in this peaceful state between waking and sleeping, let your mind wander once more through the remarkable world of penguins. There is always more to discover about these fascinating creatures, more details that reveal the complexity and beauty of their lives. The underwater world of penguins is one of constant motion and change. Light filters down through the water in shimmering curtains, illuminating schools of fish that twist and turn in unison. Penguins slice through this underwater realm like feathered torpedoes, their movements precise and powerful despite their awkward appearance on land. When penguins hunt, they enter a state of focused concentration that excludes everything except their prey. Their eyes track the silvery flash of fish scales or the translucent bodies of krill against the deeper darkness below. Their flippers beat in perfectly coordinated rhythm, propelling them forward with bursts of acceleration that few fish can escape. The pursuit may last only seconds, or it may continue for minutes as penguin and prey engage in a deadly dance through the water column. The penguin must calculate angles and trajectories, anticipating where its prey will be and adjusting its course accordingly. The fish must evade and escape, using the only advantages it has against a faster, more powerful predator. When the chase ends successfully, the penguin swallows its catch whole, the backward-facing spines on its tongue preventing the slippery prey from escaping. Then it may rest briefly at the surface, catching its breath before diving again, or it may immediately pursue another target if prey is abundant. The depths to which penguins dive vary dramatically. Little blue penguins typically forage in shallow coastal waters, diving to just 10 to 30 meters. Adelie penguins reach depths of around 50 to 70 meters on most dives, though they can go deeper when pursuing prey. Emperor penguins regularly dive below 200 meters and have been recorded at depths exceeding 500 meters. At these extreme depths, penguins face challenges that would be fatal to most air-breathing animals. The pressure compresses their bodies, squeezing the air from their lungs and forcing their organs into smaller volumes. The darkness is nearly complete, with only the faintest traces of light filtering down from the surface far above. Yet penguins have adapted to thrive in this hostile environment. Their flexible ribcage collapse under pressure without causing injury. Their blood can carry oxygen at concentrations that would be impossible for less adapted animals. Their eyes can detect the faint bioluminescence of prey animals or the silhouettes of fish against the distant glow of the surface. The time penguins can spend underwater is limited by their oxygen reserves. Most dives last just 2 to 5 minutes, long enough to pursue and catch prey before returning to the surface to breathe. But when conditions demand it, penguins can extend their dives far beyond this normal range. Emperor penguins hold the record for both depth and duration among penguin species. The longest recorded dive lasted over 32 minutes, and dives exceeding 20 minutes are not uncommon when birds are foraging in deep water. During these extended dives, the penguin's body enters a state of conservation, reducing blood flow to non-essential organs and relying on stored oxygen in the muscles to keep swimming. The ascent from a deep dive must be carefully managed. Rising too quickly could cause the dissolved gases in the penguin's blood to form bubbles, a condition similar to the bends that affects human divers. Penguins seem to have some natural protection against this condition, but they still typically ascend gradually, pausing at intermediate depths before reaching the surface. At the surface, penguins may rest for several minutes between dive bouts, floating quietly as they replenish their oxygen stores and recover from the exertion of deep diving. During these rest periods, they are vulnerable to predators, and they remain alert, ready to dive if danger threatens. The hunting success of penguins varies with conditions. In rich feeding grounds, a penguin may catch dozens or even hundreds of prey items during a single foraging trip. In lean times, they may dive repeatedly without success, burning precious energy in futile pursuit of scarce prey. When prey is abundant and easily caught, penguins may fill their stomachs quickly and return to their colonies with food for their chicks. When prey is scarce, they may be forced to travel farther and stay away longer, leaving their mates and chicks to wait and hope for their return. The underwater world of penguins includes not only prey, but also predators. Leopard seals lurk near ice edges and colony approaches, waiting to ambush penguins as they enter or leave the water. Sharks patrol warmer waters, using their keen senses to detect the movements of swimming birds. Even orcas, the ocean's top predators, occasionally target penguins when other prey is unavailable. Penguins have learned to be cautious around these dangerous predators. They gather in groups before entering the water, finding safety in numbers. They check the water carefully before diving in, watching for the telltale signs of lurking predators. They remain vigilant while swimming, ready to flee at the first sign of danger. The decision to enter the water is never taken lightly by a penguin. Every swim carries risks, both from predators and from the energy demands of hunting and traveling. But the ocean is also the source of everything a penguin needs to survive. Food, water, and the nutrients required for reproduction all come from the sea. This fundamental tension between risk and reward shapes the behavior of penguins throughout their lives. They must balance the need to feed against the danger of predation, the drive to reproduce against the demands of survival, the comfort of the colony against the solitude of the open ocean. As you rest peacefully, your own tensions and worries can dissolve like ice in warm water. The challenges of your life are real, but in this moment of rest, you can set them aside. Like a penguin floating quietly at the surface between dives, you can allow your body to recover and your mind to find peace. The ocean continues its eternal rhythms around the penguins, waves rising and falling, currents flowing in ancient patterns, tides pushing and pulling at the margins of ice and shore. These rhythms have continued for billions of years and will continue for billions more, unchanged by the small dramas of predator and prey that play out in its waters. Penguins are part of these rhythms, their lives shaped by the movements of the sea and the creatures within it. They are both masters of their environment and subject to its whims, capable of remarkable feats yet vulnerable to forces beyond their control. In this, they are not so different from us. We too are shaped by forces larger than ourselves, and we too must navigate between risk and reward, security and adventure, the familiar and the unknown. The penguins can be our teachers in this, showing us how to face challenges with resilience and how to find joy in the midst of hardship. The colonial life of penguins offers its own lessons. In a penguin colony, thousands of individuals live in close proximity, each pursuing its own survival and reproduction while depending on the larger community for safety and support. Conflicts arise and are resolved. Relationships form and sometimes dissolve. Life goes on in all its complexity. Penguins have evolved to thrive in this crowded social environment. They can recognize hundreds of individuals by sight and sound. They can navigate complex social hierarchies without getting into costly fights. They can cooperate with others when cooperation serves their interests and compete when competition is necessary. The communication systems of penguins allow them to coordinate their behavior across the colony. Contact calls keep track of mates and chicks. Display calls establish territories and attract partners. Threat calls warn of predators and deter rivals. Together, these vocalizations create a constant soundtrack that defines life in the colony. Body language adds another layer of communication. Postures and movements convey information about mood, intention, and status. A penguin that wants to pass peacefully through the colony holds its body in a specific way that signals non-aggression. A penguin defending its nest adopts a different posture that warns others to stay away. These communication systems have evolved over millions of years, refined by natural selection to serve the needs of colonial life. They are sophisticated enough to coordinate the activities of hundreds of thousands of individuals, yet simple enough that even newly hatched chicks can begin to participate. As you continue to rest, let the image of a penguin colony fill your mind. Imagine the sounds of thousands of birds calling to each other, a wall of noise that somehow resolves into meaningful messages for those who know how to listen. Imagine the movement of birds coming and going, the endless shuffle as positions in huddles change, the purposeful waddles of penguins headed to or from the sea. This is the world that penguins know, a world of ice and water, of sound and movement, of danger and security, of hardship and reward. It is a world very different from our own, yet connected to ours through the web of life that spans our planet. The penguins ask nothing of us, expect nothing from us, may not even be aware of our existence. Yet we are bound to them through our shared biology, our shared planet, our shared future. What happens to the penguins matters to us, and what we do affects them, whether we intend it or not. This connection is part of what makes penguins so fascinating to so many people. They are ambassadors from another world, showing us possibilities we might never have imagined. They are mirrors reflecting our own nature back at us, revealing both our strengths and our vulnerabilities. They are reminders of the beauty and diversity of life on Earth, inspiring us to protect what remains. As sleep deepens around you, let the penguins fade gently from your conscious mind. They will remain in your memory, ready to resurface when you need them. The facts you have learned tonight are now part of your knowledge, available whenever you want to recall them. The images you have imagined are stored in your visual memory, ready to bring you peace in moments of stress. The penguins themselves continue their lives in the southern hemisphere, unaware of you but present nonetheless. They will be there when you wake, still swimming and diving, calling and courting, caring for their young and preparing for the future. Their story continues regardless of whether anyone is watching, because that is what life does. It continues, and your story continues too. Tomorrow will bring new experiences, new challenges, new opportunities. You will face them refreshed by this night of rest, strengthened by the time you have spent in peaceful contemplation of the natural world. You will carry with you the lessons of the penguins, even if you are not consciously aware of them. Resilience, adaptation, cooperation, devotion. These are the gifts that penguins offer to those who take the time to learn about them. These are the qualities that have allowed penguins to thrive for 60 million years, and that will allow you to thrive in whatever circumstances you face. Sleep now, secure in the knowledge that you are part of something larger than yourself. You are connected to the penguins and to all living things through the ancient bonds of biology and the modern connections of awareness and care. You are never alone, even when you feel isolated, because the web of life surrounds and supports you always. The night passes quietly, the stars wheeling overhead, the Earth turning through space. Penguins are waking in some places and sleeping in others, their activities dictated by the rhythms of light and dark, tide and season. Humans sleep and wake according to their own rhythms, but we too are part of nature, subject to the same forces that govern all life. Rest now in this knowledge. Let it comfort you and give you peace. The morning will come, as it always does, bringing with it new opportunities and new challenges. But that is for later. For now, there is only rest, only peace, only the gentle embrace of sleep. The penguins send their silent blessing across the miles. Sleep well, dream peacefully, and wake refreshed. Tomorrow is another day, but tonight belongs to rest. Good night.